Good morning, students. This is Safia, your science teacher. Today we are going to have the revision for second examination. Your lessons for the second examination will be the motion and time, and other one is heat measurement. Heat measurement. We got the 4 videos of these 2 lessons. First, motion and time, we have only one part of it, so go through that part properly. Heat measurement has 3 parts, first, second and third. Go through that 3 parts perfectly and properly. And here, what you have to learn in these lessons, as I said here, already you know the question paper pattern because you have done the first examination. What is the question paper pattern? Your overall question paper pattern are the marks will be 80 and 70 for subjective and 10 for objective. So first, let us talk about subjective. Section 1, okay, 7 questions, all the 7 questions you have to answer, marks allotted will be 14, okay, and then section 2, 6 questions will be given, each question carries 4 marks, 6 4s are 24. Then third section where you can find essay type questions will be, you will be having internal choice there, either you can write A or B, each question carries 8 marks, 4 8s are 32. Now see weightage of the marks 8, 10, 6, 7. 7 we got subjective, part A will be this and part B will be the objective. We have fill in the blanks, you have to write those fill in the blanks. If you answer all, you have to answer all the fill in the blanks. So overall the marks will be 80. So this is the pattern of question paper. Now let us see an object if it changes its surroundings with respect to time, then it is said to be in motion. If an object does not change its position with respect to its surroundings in a given time, then it is said to be at rest. Okay, if it is changing, it is said to be in motion. If there is no change, it is said to be at rest. Once again I am saying you listen carefully. An object is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to its surroundings in a given time. Then if changes are present, it is motion. If there is no change, then it is at rest. Okay, and here we have learned about uniform and non-uniform motion. Uniform motion can be either uniform or either it can be non-uniform. If an object covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, the distance covered will be equal with the time. The distance covered will be equal in equal intervals of time. That is for uniform motion. And the other kind of motion is distance covered will be unequal. It won't be equal. Time taken will be same, but the distance covered will be unequal. If an object covers an equal distance in the equal intervals of time, then it is said to be in non-uniform motion. As I said, motion can be either uniform or either it can be non-uniform. If it covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, it is uniform motion. If it covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time, then it is non-uniform motion. We have seen some examples of uniform motion like hands of a clock, period of school period, and as well as you can say movement of earth, movement of moon, and movement of earth, moon, and many other examples of uniform motion. And day and night are also the examples of uniform motion. And next one is non-uniform motion. Butterfly sucking nectar from the flowers in a garden, and moving in a crowded place, train entering into the station, and these all are examples of non-uniform motion. Next, now types of motion. How many types of motions are there? 3 types of motions are there: translatory, rotatory, oscillatory. So first one is translatory motion. In translatory motion, if an object is moving along with all the body parts in a particular way, then it is said to be translatory motion. Translatory motion is further divided into 2 types, that is rectilinear and curvilinear, based on the path followed by the translatory body. Translatory means what? If an object is carrying all the body parts from it, either it can be straight or either it can be curved line. If a translatory moving body follows the straight path, then it is rectilinear. If a translatory body follows curved path, then it is curvilinear. So let me take one example for this. We have taken an example, that is what? Bus, auto, a train. Okay, let us take example of airplane also you can take. Airplane is in uniform and rectilinear motion. That means what here? As it is moving, the speed covered is equal and as well as it is moving in the straight line. So it is what? The plane is in uniform and rectilinear motion. Okay, so it can be type of motion and as well as it will be either uniform or either it will be non-uniform. Like one more example I would like to take is of running race. So the person running will be in non-uniform motion and following curvilinear path. It depends on the person whether he is running fast or slow. Based on that we can say whether. So if a person is covering an equal distance in equal intervals of time, then he is said to be non-uniform motion. And as the running race competition will be in the laps or I can say turns, so it is a curvilinear motion. So this is how an object can be uniform, non-uniform or in rectilinear and curvilinear motion. Other type of motion is rotatory motion. So what is rotatory motion here? If an object follows circular path from a fixed point, and it is said to be in rotatory motion. Example: ceiling fan, top, okay, potter's wheel, and as well as blades of the grinder. Okay, all those jar are the examples of rotatory motion. Again, it can be uniform rotatory, non-uniform rotatory. Next one is oscillatory motion. If an object follows to and fro path from a fixed point, then it is said to be in oscillatory motion. We have seen examples of that. Pendulum I have given, sewing needle, swing, typewriter key, or strings of sitar or the guitar. Okay, these are the examples of oscillatory motion. After moving on to the next topic, what we have is whether the motion is slow or fast, how we can decide based on the comparison. And here for comparing, we need two moving bodies, and then we need time also to know whether a body is fast or slow in motion. Then we have learned about time, gadgets of time, table of time we have to go through, and then we have finally speed. So there are two units of speed, that is what kilometer per hour is the basic unit, whereas the SI unit is meter per second. Okay, this you have learned. 1 kilometer per hour equals to 5/18 meter per second. We have derived this also. So go through this properly. This was about motion and time. Heat measurement. We have each and every topic of heat measurement in the videos. As I said, heat is a form of energy. Energies cannot be created nor be destroyed. They can be transferred from high temperature objects to low temperature objects. Okay, and the conversion of energies can take place, and heat can convert into different forms of energy. Different forms of energies can be converted into heat. Okay, heat energy. Then measurement, to know or to find out the heat energy, we use the unit temperature. Temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of an object. Okay, so to find out the temperature, we use different instruments. Usually the instrument used to measure human body temperature is clinical thermometer. Which thermometer? Clinical thermometer. Clinical thermometer is used to measure human body temperature. Other than clinical thermometer, we have digital thermometer. Digital thermometer is there, and thermistor thermometer is also present, used for measuring human body temperatures. So clinical thermometer, complete description I have given. Students read that lesson, explanation of the clinical thermometer, practice the diagram. It is very important. And then related to this clinical thermometer was first invented by Galileo in the year 1593 AD. What thermometric material he used? Air. Okay, because air also expands on heating. As we know here, clinical thermometers are based on the principal expansion of matter due to heat. Matter can be either solid, liquid or gas. So the first matter he used was gas, air. Okay. Now we are using the matter. Which matter we are using here? Liquid. So liquids expand on heating. You have learned this activity. Go through that activity, apparatus, drawings, everything, because that is also an important activity. So you have taken all the materials, made the apparatus. Final conclusion will be that when we are putting that flask into the hot water, I mean when we are pouring hot water in the trough, which is having that flat bottomed flask. So what happens, as it is getting warm, as the temperature rises up, the colored water in the flask will rise up, and you'll observe that liquids are expanding on heating. Again you have to bring back to its original position. So you have to remove the container, that flask, from the trough and put it aside for some time. You'll observe that as the temperature decreases, the water will come to its original position. So conclusion is that liquids expand on heating. Okay. Next we have normal human body temperature in Celsius is 57 degrees Celsius. In Fahrenheit it is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, if the temperature is beyond this, elevated more than this, then we are suffering with fever. How to find out? By using clinical thermometer, and where to use and all I have given description. Go through the description properly. Digital thermistor also I have given. One more thermometer, more two thermometers we have discussed here. In detail we have discussed about laboratory thermometer. Laboratory thermometer is used in laboratories for measuring the temperatures of different chemicals. They does not have kink. They have only one scale, that is what Fahrenheit scale. And next one more only introduction we got is of MMT. And what is the full form of MMT? I will give you this blank. What is the full form of MMT? MMT is maximum minimum thermometer. Who invented MMT? Scientist 6. What is the use of MMT? It is used for measuring the temperature of a day or a place. What liquids are used in this? That is mercury and alcohol. In clinical thermometer we use mercury. Why do we use mercury? That properties, based on the properties we are using mercury and alcohol. So go through the properties of mercury and alcohol as well. Then we have after that how to measure. Then some precautions when we are using clinical thermometer. Later on we have done an first activity. We have took 3 beakers, immersed our fingers. Okay, all that activities you have to go through properly. And small points like normal temperature, who invented something, or what will be the conclusion, that all, and what are the thermometric liquids, etc. etc. Read everything clearly and properly, because I am going to prepare question paper what you are learning from the videos itself. Okay, read well, all the best students, write well without cheating.